Notts County Talk, another Thursday night. We are live for episode 171 of the Pavis Perspective. The usual show tonight, we've got our player anagram, and we've got a guest. We have Ben, who is going to chat Fleetwood with us, and a little bit of Martin Patterson as well. We are always sponsored by Better Bytes Computers, so use that code Pavis Perspective for discounts off refurbished computers or computer repairs. And yeah, let's kick off the show. Drop us that 5-star review if you're listening back on Spotify. But let's kick off the show, George. We've got so much to talk about. We've got the Tranmere win. We've got the Lincoln defeat in the pizza, whatever it is, trophy. We've got the statement from the owners. We've got Jatta's contract buried in there. We've got a fungal infection on the pitch at the same time as Jody Jones is away with Malta and actually not playing. We've got, goodness knows, we've got the transfer window that ended and we did absolutely nothing with. It's too much. It's too much for me to take. I think we're going to have to call the show off.
Yeah. Looks like you're panicking a bit there.
I'm not. I am panicking. I am. Well, I am panicking. I'll be honest. A week where we didn't do anything in the transfer market. We didn't sell. Curtis Edwards had his contract terminated. We didn't sell. We didn't buy. But a lot has happened, hasn't it? A lot has happened.
It has, yeah.
The Tranmere win was good. The Lincoln win, not so good. Well, not win. The Lincoln defeat, not so good. But how are you feeling since the Tranmere game? Because a lot's gone on. Like how because I've been this season I've been flicking between like really positive and then really negative, and like I should be really positive after a Tranmere win, but I'm still not. I'm not there. I'm not as positive as I should be. I was positive on the way home.
Yeah. What? Because you were going home?
Well, a bit of both. I like Tranmere, to be fair. I like that as an away day. It was a good away day. But I mean, like, on the way home from Tranmere, I was like, okay, we'll kick-started it. And it's nothing to do with the Lincoln defeat. But I don't know. Just what's your mood right now around everything? Because we didn't get anyone in.
Yeah, no, it's a funny one. I don't know if I'm being like a bit blind with it all, but I think you can only beat what's in front of you, can't you? In the league, this is specifically, and the last 3 games we've done quite well at that. I think could definitely do better against Bromley, but you can't help but feel like, you know, if Jatta was an option in that game, I think we would have killed that game off if he was brought on. As we sort of saw him in doing that similar style in Tranmere. Lincoln in the week, that for me was, we talked about it when the lineup came out. We were excited to see some of those names in there. You know, Jarvis comes in, unfortunately goes off injured. You know, and then there's a lot of players in there that we've not seen as well, like Traore, who gets minutes. And it's an opportunity to sort of see those players that were crying out for play, and maybe you see why some of them aren't playing. Maybe you think some of them deserve more of a chance. And I think as a football fan, you don't really get that opportunity much anymore. Well, not that you used to get it all the time anyway, but you know, it's just there's so many games, isn't there, now with the EFL Cup, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup. It's interesting to see like the team that we put out. And yeah, I think you got to take from it what you can. It was a defeat. It wasn't the best, but you know, it's enjoyable all the same, isn't it? You're still getting out. You're still watching Notts, and a bit of a better perspective of where the sort of, you know, fringe players are at. Yeah, I mean that's where I am. I think we're turning a bit of a corner. It does sort of feel like performances are on a nice edge. Still, it's not completely convincing, is it? It's, you know, it sort of swings one way or the other. I think at Tranmere we rode our luck at times, but on the whole, you know, looking at it in the league, we do seem to have turned a bit of a corner.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We've got loads to talk about then. We'll elaborate on more of that later on in the show. We're going to get Ben in about a minute's time. Just see who's with us tonight. So we've got Richard, who was in nice and early with the comments in the chat. We've got Royston, we've got Tony, we've got Helen, channel member. Says, hello everyone, good news about Jatta. Obviously, we're going to talk about that. Weirdly buried in the statement from the owners, which I thought it should have been its own bit of news. Nigel's channel member says it's going to be all about performance and results now after a half empty owner statement. The jury is still out. We've got Gaz with us. We've got David. We've got Ian. We've got Ken, Stephen, Rob. Plenty of you here every single week. We've got Martin, who's channel member, says, even all happiness is Chesterfield getting stuff 7-1. Yeah, we were looking at that, weren't we, George, as the goals were going in when we were at Lincoln, and it was great to see. Absolutely great to see. Someone says they're banning international call-ups. Mickey, channel member, says, evening all. Was sat directly behind you at Lincoln. Was good to say hello. Yeah, it was, mate. Good to see you at Lincoln, despite the result. But like George said, it was still a good laugh. It was a good day. A game where you're not that invested. Callum says George getting perspective in on the Pavis perspective. And Adam, channel member, says Tranmere was a battle which Notts won. It was, and I don't think we won many battles last season. So, the positives, right.
Am I missing something with Callum's comment there?
I think you said the word perspective, mate.
What?
I think you said the word perspective on the Pavis perspective.
All right. He said it says Paris perspective there. Yeah, I think he's even done a spelling error. He's playing with us.
Well, you can't be calling out channel members like that.
Well, I just did.
Callum's been channel member for like 2 years. So sorry about that,
Callum. I'll just call you out.
Right. Let's chat Fleetwood. Ben, thank you for joining us. You've been on the channel quite a few times, but appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, great to come on. Looking forward to chatting the game. Hopefully, we're all good to go come Saturday. I wasn't quite expecting that news a couple of hours ago, I must admit.
No, you sent a message when the international call-ups were announced, sort of asking if the game would be on, and I kind of thought it would. And now there's like some disease on our pitch. I do hope it is on, because the inspection is at 11 o'clock, and I very much assume by 11 o'clock a lot of your fans will already have set off to Notts. So, yeah, let's hope it's on. I don't see any benefit to it being off for Notts, even though we have international call-ups. So there we go. We're having a very brief chat before, Ben, about a topic that's very, very interesting on Notts on this channel, and it's our appointment of our head coach. And it's been really all that's been spoken about since he was appointed. You obviously, you do a lot on your channel with League One and League Two, and you've seen, we spoke about, the final game of Patterson's tenure at Burton Albion. What are your thoughts on our head coach, Martin Patterson?
He's one of those types of managers, take his record away from you. You hear him speak and you're so positive about him, and he sucks you in like a Dyson. He really he speaks so positively and speaks so upbeat. So do many football managers do. I think that he's one of the best car salesmen in the EFL, that he knows the right lines. He knows how to say the right things. It does eventually wear off. He went into Burton. He wanted to play a certain way. He couldn't play it with the players he had. You're in a relegation battle. He had difficult situations there, so you'll give him the benefit of the doubt. It was on repeat. He would say, great week in training. We've done this. And the lads are really buying into what we want to do. The lads know the non-negotiables. And as a fan, when you hear that, you think, brilliant, they're buying into the ethos of the football club. But when you hear it every week and you start losing and you're having good weeks in training, I remember when we appointed Charlie Adam, we were bottom of the table, we were 12 points adrift. All we kept hearing was Pulfoot's buzzing. Well, we've not won a game for 13 matches. I don't care if the training ground's buzzing. I want to win match I want Highbury to be buzzing, not the training ground. So, yeah, I was very surprised that you went for him, especially on the deal that you gave him. But I can see why owners go near him, because of the way he talks. He's a young coach. He's not going to cost an absolute fortune. And he'll probably play the way that they want to, you want to play. My alarm, I think you were having like regular meetings or weekly meetings with him after games. I remember reading that in a statement and thinking, oh, okay, maybe that's the only reason he was one of the only managers to agree to that. So, yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how he does. The first few games, I think he started poorly, and I think it came across as sometimes when a manager gets appointed that's not wanted and you start badly, you're kind of like, well, here we go. Here's what everyone expected. And then you're just kind of waiting for it to happen, really. Couple of decent results since against, in my opinion, a very, very poor Shrewsbury side and a middle-of-the-road Tranmere side. But 6 points collected from there. And you've just got to give him the opportunity, I guess. And soon we'll tell if it's a good appointment or a bad one. I'm not a massive fan of him, but he could turn out to be okay.
I'm interested to know about Fleetwood and how you're getting on this season. But one more question from me, from your perspective: do you see Notts troubling A, the top 3 at all this season, and B, the playoffs?
You look at Notts squad; it's okay. There's quality there when you look through it. Jatta is still a good player. Dennis just sort of like a house on fire. I think he got 6 in 14 last year, so that makes it 11 in 20, 21 games. And he's a very patchy player. I don't think he's a 20-goal a season striker still, but I think he can get you 10 to 15 goals still. It's about consistency. Jatta, obviously, if his mind's with it, is a good player. Jones, if given the freedom to do so. I just feel with Notts, people will put Notts County up there because they're called Notts County. And they're a big football club for the level. That is the reason why. And for me, that's their dangerous game. That, and I often feel, you say, for example, Bromley. People won't put Bromley up there because they're called Bromley and they get 2,000 supporters at home. Whereas if you actually look through the squad, you think they've recruited really well, got a good squad. So I look through Notts County, and I think it's probably between 9th and 13th. I think it's okay. It's got quality. It can threaten. I feel it's got that fear factor of going to a big ground, to a big football club, a historic football club, and people will freeze going there. But I often feel you can get at Notts County a bit more. I don't feel like they're as quite as strong or as worrisome as they were last year. And they've not had a huge turnover when you think about it. But I just feel other teams around them have improved when Notts have kind of not really taken a step forward, especially after that playoffs. Getting into the playoffs is a really good achievement. I don't feel like they've taken a step forward this summer.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. A few people correct me. Yeah, the pitch inspection is tomorrow, not Saturday. But yeah, tomorrow. So Fleetwood fans won't be on their way at 11 o'clock tomorrow. It'll be Saturday. You've had a decent start to the season. You sat, yes. I mean, 2 points off the playoffs. We're not talking about playoffs yet. But 11 points, 6 games. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, great start. I think we had a similar start last year. So let's not reserve judgment just yet. But it's been a good start. We're playing a lot better than we were last year. We've got a bit more of a squad depth now. I feel the options off the bench. I feel that you've got an Evans, you've got a Norwood, you've got a Matty Virtue who's been coming off the bench at times this season. You've signed the likes of Ethan Ennis in the last few days. So I feel like we're well diverse in that area. We're playing some decent stuff. I don't feel we've probably played our best stuff yet. We've probably had one really good half of football against Bristol Rovers. We were okay against Barnet, got the 3 points. What we are doing now, though, is we're finding a way to not lose games. Bar the Crew game, that was an absolute disaster where we lost 4-1. Bromley away, we found a way to get a point. Barrow, we found a way to get over 10 men and won the game. So we are finding ways to win games of football uglier. I feel Pete Wild knows this division a bit better than Charlie Adam did. We were very pretty under Charlie, and that's okay in August and September. But when it gets a physical battle in October, November, December, and it's a fight and it's a brawl, I feel like you need warriors. And I feel Pete Wild's really recruited them, the likes of Norwood, Toby Malarkey, Sean Rooney obviously came in January, Harrison Neal, tenacious with a capital T. You've actually got real warriors there to win your battles and to get over fine margin games of football.
Yeah, I think that's what we might be lacking, George. I think other than Norburn, I don't know who we've signed that fits that profile. And whether Norburn will be fit for the season, I don't know. We've got a question in, Ben, from Adam. Says, what's your favourite and your worst away day in the league?
Bromley. I've never been a fan of Bromley. I've done that twice, but it's not great. But there is a couple of bits near it. I probably the worst is Cambridge. I think that's just there's nothing near the ground, and yeah, it's miles away. And we've got them 12:30. I'm not going this year actually. The best, I would probably say, Notts is definitely up there because of everything that you've got around it. But if I wasn't going for Notts, I used to always love Peterborough away. Funny enough, obviously, they're near Cambridge. I'll go for Notts because obviously big city centre. You've got lots near it, and there you are. I'm on the Notts County podcast. So there you are.
Oh, cheers, appreciate it. We had a Bromley podcast the other week. Said Notts as well. So It's good, 2 for 2. Last year, I was really impressed when we played you by Brendan Wiredu. And he's obviously gone to Plymouth, and things haven't started well from there on the pitch and off the pitch. You know, there's been obviously issues there which we don't like to see. But has he been a big miss? And if so, is it as big as you expected it, the miss to be?
We always knew Brendan Wiredu was going to go. I wish him well. He's a good lad. He did well for the football club. He's a good player. But I feel now Fleetwood have moved on. It almost felt like the Brendan Wiredu show too often last year. And it was like, he was good, but he was like, I don't think he was outstanding last year. I thought he was okay for his standards. I felt that his okay was good, a lot better than a lot of others. So that I'm not being harsh on the lad there. I just expect so much from him these days. He didn't surprise me. He went to League One. I think he'll grow into the role. It took him a year to grow into being a Fleetwood player in League One. So yeah, let's see. I do feel like we're a better squad without him now, rather than having that one-star player.
Yeah, that is interesting because that's what people are kind of thinking about David McGoldrick with us. Massive, massive loss. And he's gone back up to League One and started scoring. But we did just feed him the ball all the time. And yeah, it's interesting to see how playing without him. I mean, if you give me the option, I'd have kept him. Definitely kept him. But, you know, it's interesting to see what it's like. Last season, 2 games, both 2-2.
Yes.
I thought at your place, first half, we were absolutely incredible from what I saw under Maynard. Jatta puts that chance away where your keeper makes a decent save. I think we've gone to win the game comfortably. And then you hit us with 2 goals. And I think in the end, we're lucky to get the draw at our place. Again, a very late Jody Jones penalty, I believe.
Yeah, it was always
6 points.
Yeah, it was always going to come, wasn't it? And that story of why Notts didn't get into the top 3 and why Fleetwood didn't go anywhere near the playoffs. Fleetwood were consistently inconsistent last year. I mean, when you talk about constantly inconsistent, they won 15, they drew 15, they lost 16, they scored 60 goals, conceded 60 goals, won back-to-back games, I think 3 times, and lost back-to-back games 3 times. So it shows you everything. Fleetwood were okay last year, but weren't great. And it's a good way sometimes after you get relegated. It can be hard. Look at Shrewsbury, this year, Forest Green Rovers, Scunthorpe before that, all struggle. First away game for us last year, remember it right, it was on the Sunday, 2-0 up, and I was thinking, what, we're 2-0 up here, this is a statement and a half. And I remember you had 83% of the ball, and it just kept feeling like you want to come. And that was Fleetwood all over. So you tickle our bellies, you'll get joy. And I feel like that's one thing 12 months on we're a little bit better at. When we get into a lead, I feel more confident in it. Yes, obviously, as a fan, you're thinking, you're always worrying, aren't you? You could be 4-0 up, but you're always worrying that, what's going to go wrong rather than what's going to go right. And I think you get one back. I think Jatta gets one back with about 25 minutes to go. And then you just start to believe that a football fan in you. And he's like, no. You get the penalty, and yeah, you obviously score it, to be fair. Good game, enjoyed that. And the reserve fixture was probably my favourite game in the back end of last year. That and the Port Vale game, I think we had back-to-back home games that were really eventful draws against 2 good sides. First off, you're outstanding. Abbott ran the show. Yeah. For me, best player I think I've seen at Highbury last year. I actually commented, I thought Notts were the best side I saw home and away. You didn't get the extra 4 points that you probably should have done, and that's what cost you. And rather than being good, you just needed to find a way to dig out games, and you couldn't quite do that enough, especially against us. And then it was a Ryan Graydon show for us. He was on fire that period of the season, where I think he scored like 8 and 7, and then he got injured shortly after that, and then it was a late show again. So I thought a point was fair the second time round, obviously, because when you're 2-1 up with a few minutes to go. But no, they were good games, and hopefully the same again on Saturday.
Yeah, hopefully. My final question, Ben, I appreciate your time, is can I have a score prediction?
Oh, I'll say one thing, and I said yes, not so probably just a bit better than middle of the road. One thing with Fleetwood, I don't feel there's enough belief with the group just yet that I feel if Fleetwood came to Notts County on Saturday and won, say 1-0, it would make an absolute huge statement. It would, because then you're thinking that's 14 points from 7. You've won 3 of your first 4 away. You've got away at Nottingham 1. You beat Barrow against 10 men. You beat Bristol Rovers early in the season. You beat Newport Barn. There's started to be a trend now, and we're starting to get into that period of the season where you can go out and make your statements. But I think I'd take a point again. I'd take a 1-1 draw, and I think it's the home game this month against Walsall and Colchester. And if you can draw the away, 8 points, I think would be great. Pete always targets a point and a half a game, but I'll go for 1-1. I think it's going to be I'm looking forward. It's going to be a very interesting game.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, I think it'll be a good one. I have no idea how we'll turn up, and that's the interesting thing for us, I suppose. But yeah, Ben, hopefully have you again for the reverse fixture, and yeah, cheers, appreciate it.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Yeah,
Cheers,
you.
Ben.
Cheers.
Thank you.
I think every guest we've had this season has been great. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. The Fleetwood game last season. I mean, thinking back to it, there were 2 great games, really, really good games of football. The home leg, I say it's not 2-legged ties, but the home one was good. The away one brings back so many memories of George Abbott. Honestly, that first half was unreal. But all I can think about is leaving the game. And I think I said to the people here, I said, why can't Jatta take a chance? Like, he missed a couple of sitters in that game. Sitters. Let's talk about Jatta. I was really interested to see. Really, really interested to see how he would come out in that substitute appearance. What did you make of it?
I thought it was really good. I thought he couldn't really fault him, to be honest with you. He looked like he was up for it, didn't he? Which I think he lacked a little bit towards the end of last season, but he's come back after his suspension and his back spasm, and he seems to be well up for it. It's interesting to see that the owners put in a statement about extending his contract. I wonder has that been like a factor that's sort of made him devote himself a little bit more. Time will tell, but I think it's exciting to see the impact that the 2 strikers did have, because at times it just looked like Tranmere couldn't really cope with it, and there was a period of that game, like 10-15 minutes, where we were all over them. We looked like we were going to score more, but we didn't. But yeah, I mean, I'm impressed with Jatta, to be honest, so far. He has a short cameo, I know, but he's looked good. Yeah,
I thought it was good. Yeah, I want to see that consistently. I hope it's not. Do you remember when Dan Crowley looked to be in the shop window for that Grimsby game on Sky, and he played absolutely out of his skin? I hope it's not that. Very quickly, Richard says sack the anagram maker. Yes, if you didn't see what was going on, Melanie said, "Is the anagram Jake Cassidy?" Richard then says, "There's no E," to which Melanie replies, "And now an E has appeared in the anagram. I didn't want to do this, but the anagrams are made by Jordan.
That's not
and
fair.
He's missed out the E. I know, but he can't be thinking bad of us two, can they?
You're lying.
They can't be thinking bad of us two.
You're lying.
Oh, George, I'm covering for you here.
That's not fair.
I'm covering for you. Yeah, it is Jake Cassidy. That's outstanding work to get it without the E. But Jordan will appear on the channel on Saturday, so save your comments for then, please. Save your comment. I hate to do that because he's obviously such a good lad. He's been on the channel a while, but sometimes you have to call people out for their mistakes, and he would own it. He'd own his mistakes. And there, look, Melanie, absolutely buzzing. There we go.
What a man. Good work.
The Jatta signing is good. It is good that he's signed because A, it means we're not going to lose him on a free. Mm-hmm. And B, it means someone has to pay a bit more for him. As I said, sack Jordan, get the Wirral dog back from last week. If you listened to last week's show, you'd have heard it. There you go. Imagine if you're on Spotify and you didn't realise there was a dog involved in last week's show. That was a really good show. That was. The Wirral dog was class. So that's good. But it's buried in a statement. and I don't know what you think of the statement. I don't know. It just seems bizarre, a bizarre statement to me. The first like 2 lines in the statement, I read it and I had to reread it because I was like, they've not said this.
I was shocked by quite a few things in the statement, to be honest with you. I think football's all it's a very political statement, don't you think? Like it sort of ushers around issues that I think we have in the squad. But look, time will tell. At this moment in time in the league, we are doing okay from our last 3 games, aren't we?
We are, yeah.
But for them to say that we've had our biggest budget since in charge at Notts because of sustainability from the nest and the paddle courts and etc. That's given us our biggest playing budget, but we've not paid a fee for anybody, which we have done in previous seasons. We did it with Mai Traore, we did it with Langstaff, we did it with Kevin Scott. Paid a fee for all these players. And the fees aren't like blowing anyone out of the water. Like when you compare those fees to sort of the salaries that they'd be on, it's probably not massive, but I can't see how that is the case. I'm not accusing them of lying, but it doesn't seem to add up. For what that statement says to what I see on paper, it doesn't really add up to me. And I'm not knocking them because I think what they've done at Notts, they've set some really good foundations. And I do agree with some of what they say, talking about, foundation to the club's sustainability, which is a good thing. I remember when I first started going to Notts, the club just got saved from going into administration. And it's happened again in more recent years, hasn't it? So that sort of uncertainty is gone. We're not being erratic. We're spending money, with purpose. But I think the concern is obviously you've brought in Patterson, who we've sort of talked about before. He wasn't the first choice, and he's nowhere near being proven. And then like the players that we've brought in, they're all yet to sort of show. Like we normally have 1 or 2 players in there that have shown good quality. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm talking like Dan Crowley, I'm talking about Goldrick, players like that where they've got pedigree in leagues above, and we don't really have that at the moment. So it doesn't feel like we have, it doesn't feel like we have the best budget that we've had under this ownership. But I mean, I could be wrong. But yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? It's definitely a strange one.
I spoke to my dad earlier, and he kind of said it in a different way. So if that's our biggest budget,
yeah,
and that's the biggest we've had in their tenure in charge, then we've just not recruited very well. If that's the budget you're given and that's what you've got, that falls on Gagliardi, because I fail to see. I don't know who is going to be on huge wages there. Norburn may be on quite a bit. If we've paid Roos anywhere near the highest, awful, because you might have watched the vlog from Saturday's game against Tranmere, and I was like, okay, fair enough, it's a pass across goal. I didn't think there was too much that he could have done. But George at the time said to me that he should have saved that, and I was like, nah. I've rewatched it. Like he had to save that. It's straight at it. I haven't seen a goalkeeper dive like that. If you rewatch it, I haven't seen a goalkeeper dive like that. There's an angle that's filmed from behind the goal, and it's pretty it's pretty telling to watch it. He's far from good enough, and I think back to teams in every division, right? And I'm not for once saying we're going to get top 3. I don't think we're going to get top 3. I'll say it now, but nobody gets automatic. Nobody wins a league with a poor goalkeeper. It just doesn't happen. And I'm not pinning it all on him, because I'm talking about Griffiths as well, who's young. Look at Griffiths in the Cardiff game. He's barely played any minutes for us. In the Cardiff game, he passes straight to a Cardiff player. We've already lost points from our goalkeepers this season.
Mm-hmm.
Roos is the only one that's cost us points because, you know, competitive matches. But how many is that going to be? Well, what? How many games into the season are we now? 6. So, you know, like a 7th of the way through the season, pretty much, just over. How many points is that going to be over the season if it continues? You might drop 10, 12, 15 points. 15 points is the difference between getting in the playoffs and not. Getting automatic and not. I mean, was there even 15 points between 3rd place and 7th place last season? Probably wasn't. Not the way the season ended. Concerned about that. I'm going to say this, but it's been a busy summer at Meadow Lane, marked by an appointment of a new coaching team and the assembly of a squad we believe can build on last season's playoff semi-final finish. Do you think they believe that?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how you can believe that. You've lost Alex Bass, George Abbott, who you're never going to replace, by the way, with any loan, and Dave McGoldrick. I don't think anyone can believe that they've truly built a squad and coaching team capable of building on a semi-final. So that is either automatic promotion or a playoff final. I don't think so. What about this? We focused on instilling greater intensity and athleticism. Qualities believe will enhance our competitiveness. Do you think we've improved athleticism and intensity? I mean, Eel Penders seems good. Yeah. Dennis seems to have a lot of intensity about him, doesn't he? Barry Cotter, whether we like him or not, he's athletic. You know, he's going to bring a bit of intensity with his pace. But I don't know. Maybe they've got a point there. But yeah, weird statement that I hope I look back on in like 6-7 months and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's good. They knew exactly what they were doing. But who knows?
My problem is with this, right? And I've kind of just thought about this now. Are we the coaching team that we've assembled? On paper, I don't think it's very attractive for a player that has, you know, good league experience and a high value league player. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Maybe out of contract, coming to Knots, etc. Or Knots looking to go for them. So with the squad that we have, do you think the case is that they're able to demand a higher wage because of the uncertainty of the coaching team? Because none of it's proven. So do you think that's where we are? Do you think that's why the playing budget, this big playing budget that we've had is sort of gone the way it has? Or
I don't know. It's a good question. I don't know. I know a lot of teams spend money on players. I know they don't. But you'd have thought, you know, if this is our biggest budget, just last year we bought Jarvis as well as Traore. I don't know how much for. It may have been nominal fee. I don't know. It may have been like compensation or something. But to say we've not spent anything, I do think, and I don't know how much we are, but to get someone like Hall, I wonder if we've had to put quite a substantial contribution towards his wages. But and he's not settled in yet. But I did actually see flashes from him on Tuesday night at times. He wasn't consistent for the whole game, and there were times where he knocked it past 2 or 3 players and did look dangerous. He just needs to get the confidence to shoot. I wonder, bringing in a player from Spurs, that a lot of Spurs fans, you know, met a few messages and said that they thought he was actually on a you know, a quicker trajectory to the first team than Abbott was. So whether that and Norburn, I don't know who else would command any kind of. I don't know, George. It's a good question. But if I was a player,
you got to consider as well. Like, we've got, what was it, 5 loans?
Yeah, do you know on that?
We're not going to be. I know what you're saying about contributing to wages and stuff like that, but I think we have a lot. I think we have a lot to offer in terms of development for young players as well. So I don't like it's. I don't think it's. I think we can probably move a bit and say, look, we'll develop. Like, look what we did with George Abbott, X, Y, Z. Do you know what I mean? So we have a good track record, which I think helps us with that. So I don't think we'd be paying much really for loan players in terms of covering wages. I could be completely wrong. I'm just saying this like the way that I would perceive it. But yeah, I mean, if we're not, then who's the big owners, because we've not paid fees for anyone.
No, you're right. Also, you could flip it. The other side, you've offered Dennis a contract who's been relegated. Surely that will give you a bit of wiggle room with his, he wants to come back to the Football League. Like you said, we've got a good favour in Spurs getting Tyrese Hall, Jadon Luca from Luton. Like, these clubs know we're going to develop their players. Look what we did with George Abbott. One of the best players in the whole division last season, probably top 3 player, top 5 player maybe. And then you get players on free transfers and things like that. So you're not taking any of the budget up. But yeah, it's an interesting point. I'd love to know. It will never ever ever get this, but I'd love to know a breakdown. But purely based on me, if I was a player and I was offered a couple of clubs in the league, take it out that I'm a Notts fan, there's not much attracting me to Notts other than the size of the club, really, right now. I think it's tricky. It's a tricky. We've got a massively bloated squad anyway. Massively bloated. Well, this is something we're going to go and chat on about. And Richard said this. Who will make the squad from Tuesday night? And I'm going to just read a comment before that. Quick comment in from Essie says, Radio Notts commentator Adam Hassel said on Monday after the window closed, he thinks we have a stronger side now more than we did at the end of last season. And I can see why people do think that. If you were to scale it on quality and depth, we do have more of a squad depth, but we've lost a lot of quality, and I don't know if that equals out. But yeah, sorry, going back to Richard, who makes it? We're going to go through our team in a minute. Who stood out for you? I can name 3 players who I think have a shout. What about you?
I think 2 actual contenders to start games, Robbo and Ness. I think honourable mentions. You got to say Hall.
Yeah.
Jarvis had moments, but I don't know. It's I don't know if is his head in it. I'm not sure.
Traore?
No, it didn't show anything.
Bennett?
Yeah, Bennett's is all right. I like Bennett's as an option.
He was okay though, wasn't he? He wasn't like a world beater. What about, this is an interesting one. I don't know if I've seen a player divide a fan base for a while as Conor Grant.
Yeah, I think Conor Grant's been amazing so far this season. I really do.
Do you know if he worked on his finishing? If he worked on his finishing, we'd have got to Wembley, I think, because we'd have been out of sight in the first leg against Wimbledon. But there we go. Yeah. I think Conor Grant has a shout. But that's about it. A lot of people talking about a Jarvis injury, maybe a broken wrist. Andy says he took a long time to go off, and they'd made his shirt into a bit of a sling for him, hadn't they? I feel for him there because he'd have been desperate to play well, really desperate to play well, and he goes off with an injury. Can you imagine that as a footballer that at that point you're not getting into a League 2 side. You're probably looking over your shoulder about going down to the National League or being loaned out. You don't want that. So you get your opportunity against the League 1 side. You do okay. But, if you go off with a broken wrist, I wonder if he was going to play the 90. I don't know. But it's sad. That was sad to see. But yeah, he wouldn't have done enough to get in the starting lineup, but he'd have done enough to make himself on the bench. Definitely would have offered something. Ewan says, Conor Grant is the first name on the team sheet for me. The space he drifts into, genius. # Grant Nation. I've seen this Grant Nation going around a little bit.
Have you seen that picture online where it's, when we win a game and it's I grant you 0 points? Every time I see that picture, it makes me laugh. It's so funny.
I have seen it. There's loads, isn't there? All the clubs are doing it. I think they copied Bradford.
Yeah, there's one where it's you've been out something by the tactical board or something.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that one. Dale says Traore scored twice last week against Watford in a 5-3 loss in a behind closed doors game. I
think it was a B team though, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
You can't go too much off that.
It's the one Ness played in. I know there were a few Watford players that were coming back as well, like first teamers that were starting. It was like a game put on to try and get some fitness back in both teams' players, from what I've heard. But it's all right doing all that. But you played against Lincoln and you're given 70, 75. You have to do something. There was absolutely nothing there. And I want him to play well. But I don't know. It's not like he was nowhere near it.
Yeah.
He was nowhere near it. It looked like one of those games where you've got a few injuries and you throw like a 17-year-old striker on in the cup. And you're like, that's what you've got to do. Like, and then they get dominated because they had a really big centre back. I don't know who it was, physically imposing centre back, and he was just pushing Traore out of the way all the time. And Traore switched on to the other centre back and still got no joy. I get it's probably completely playing the opposite game to what he likes, and I'd like to see him in the front too. But you've got to take your chance. If you don't take your chance in football, you lose your spot and you're quickly out of a club. The only thing keeping him like now is we paid money for him. And I probably think if we hadn't paid any money for him, he would be gone already.
I think you make a good point.
It hasn't worked at all.
That would be like the biggest failure of the recruitment, wouldn't it? Under the new ownership.
Yeah. Someone said Watford over 60s bet. Someone said, was it Watford lady? I don't actually know. I don't know. But yeah. Interesting points. I don't know, genuinely, like just taking all emotion out of it, and if you're looking at the facts, based on what we saw on Tuesday night, until the next EFL Trophy game, you wouldn't even consider putting Traore near the squad.
No.
And that's taking emotion out. I mean, I'd like to see him do well, but you wouldn't, would you? You wouldn't. Someone's mentioned the youth players. Yeah, it's good to get 3 youth players in. Just good to see. I like that from any club. I think if you cut off a pathway, you're not going to get players that want to stay at your club. They're going to get poached by bigger clubs. If you can say, look, we've put 3 players on, in a cup game against a League One side with a lot of first team League One players, they're going to, it gives them opportunities, gives them pathways into the squad. But yeah, interesting. So let's see who we've actually put in our lineup. Here's our lineup. Is that showing for everyone, George?
Not showing for me.
Not showing for you?
No.
I mean, it's not showing for you. Oh, let's try again. Is that
There
showing?
we go. That's the one.
So in goal, we've gone Kel Roos.
Top player.
There's nothing else we can do. There's literally nothing else we can do. We have to put Roos in goal. We've gone for Ness. I don't think he will play because I don't think he'll start after starting against Lincoln. But Ness, McDonald and Bedu is solid, isn't it?
It is.
I think our Joffrey's been a bit lightweight, if I'm honest. The second goal was poor from him against Lincoln. Yeah, I know you're playing League One opposition, but to be breezed past like that, I think he switched off for goal the other day. Yeah, gone for that. Gordon, is there any Gordon and Cerulli, George? It's the go-to pair at the minute.
I think so.
What about Patterson? Does he think so? Because he's swapping like mad.
Yeah, he is changing it, isn't he? But you know what? I'll be fair to Patterson. When he has changed things, whether it be sort of starting or in game from substitutions, it does seem to have affected the game positively more often than not.
Yeah, it has. Palmer and Norburn pick themselves, really. I mean, they've done really well. And this is where we struggled. Someone said no Kuyar, he's on international with Afghanistan. The part of the side of the bench is not our decided. It's not our chosen bench. They're just players that you add into the squad. So yeah, we know he's on international duty, but that's not our bench because you can see it's got Platt on there and Jones. So don't read too much into that. This is where it was difficult for us because our 2 options really were this: Eor Pender and Dennis and Jatta. Or you continue to have Jatta off the bench with limited minutes so far, and you go with this. Now it was hard to decide, wasn't it, George?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I'm pretty sold on that. I think I prefer that for now.
The issue is, so this is a bit more balanced, and we've played it, and we've played this formation starting games, haven't we? The only thing with this is if we have Dennis in here, we bring Jatta back, and Grant drops out, is we're at home. That was the thinking with that one.
Yeah.
Let us know. Would you go with the team with Jatta and Dennis, or would you go with the team with Dennis and Grant instead of Jatta? Let us know. Let us know in the comments what you would do.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Robbo. Robbo can't quite step in yet, can he? Because Palmer and Norburn haven't. What do you think about the 4-game thing that Patterson said Robbo won't be ready for at least 4 games? I think that's a bit too long.
Look, I don't know. Like, he struggled with injuries, hasn't he? He's really struggled with injuries. He's had a lot of setbacks. So I think easing him in as much as you can possibly ease him in is the best thing to do.
Fair enough. Big Meat said Jatta and Dennis. Chris says Dennis and Jatta. Mickey says Dennis and Grant. Astral says Jatta and Dennis. Marcus says, will Dennis and Jatta last 90? Don't think they would last 90. Which then has the option of what if we're losing and you have to take one of them off. Nigel says Dennis and Jatta. Richard says they go for the lineup on screen. Martin says we must have Jatta and Dennis as a front 2 to give us the potency we need to get the goals. And Gaza says Dennis and Jatta. Grant is too predictable. I really like Grant, but it was a sort of toss up between those two. Elvis says DJ up front. I like that. DJ. What was the one they used to call Barcelona? MSN, wasn't it? Messi, Suarez, Neymar. And there was another one as well for Real Madrid, I think. I can't remember. But we could start that. DJ. Could be. It does leave us with nothing off the bench, though, doesn't it? Big Meat says, my mum said she can come off the bench for the last 20 for Jatta if she's done her ironing.
Nice. Maybe
be an option instead of Traore.
How much experience does she have in the league, though?
In the league?
Yeah.
She only needs 20 minutes. She doesn't have to be a 90-minute striker.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see. I mean, it's everything's, can happen, can't it? So we'll see.
Ewan says Grant's genius is not appreciated by our fans. And Jane says we need to build a relationship with Dennis and Jatta, which I get. And Rob, if you go Dennis and Jatta start, both will need sub in 60, 70, then who do you put on?
Exactly. Rob's hit the nail on the head.
Isn't that your burner account?
Rob 99? No.
You sure?
No.
Definitely not. No. Definitely
not.
No. Any updates on Macari? No, there's no updates on Macari. We've not had an update on Jarvis, and if I'm not wrong, we've still had no update on Jaden Luca from the Barrow game. Someone said the Wirral dog gets in front of Traore. Okay, fair enough. There's our lineup. Right. Another interesting show. We've had Ben on, who's always fantastic when he comes on, knows so much about the league. Interesting to get his take because he's been in a league when they're in League One that know like a 20-game tenure for Martin Patterson, and it was clear to get his views on that, and it's clear what he thinks. But he was, at the end he sort of said, "But we'll see what happens." So, yeah, let's see the comments. The comments are great. I love the comments. Got to be the best comments on the YouTube show in the EFL. I love it. But score predictions.
Oh dear. It's a tough one, I think, to be honest with you. I think it's a tough one to call. Obviously, we've got the lineup issues, haven't we? We're missing Jones. There could be a few changes in there, like we sort of talked about with the wing backs. But I'm going to go for I think I'm going to go for a win. Which I haven't done for a couple of weeks.
Go on.
2-1 Knots.
2-1. Comments are killing me. 2-1 Knots. Who scores?
Grant and Dennis. Dennis is. I know. Ben said he's not a 20 goal a season striker, but he absolutely is.
I nearly brought up what you said last week, and you
He absolutely is. Mate, you should have. Yeah, you should have.
I didn't know. Bottled it. If you weren't here last week, George reckons that Dennis could be in Macca territory. Not with the 42 goals, but ability-wise. Put his neck out. To be fair, after the game against Tranmere, a couple of people did say it to you, didn't they? Said, "Oh, you're right."
I know, but it's early days. I'm not going to get carried away. It's early days.
It's early days, isn't it? Don't get carried away. I'm going to go. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going to go 3-0 Fleetwood. No, I'm going 2-0 Notts. I can't believe I'm going to say it. First clean sheet, 2-0, get Ness in, heads everything away. You know, I think I'm going to go 2-0, and I'm feeling optimistic about this one. Dennis double. Imagine that. It'd be on what? 8 goals already, I think. Maybe 7. I'm not sure. Let's see what you're thinking then. We've got 2-0, Jatta and Dennis. 6-0, Dennis hat-trick and Gordon hat-trick. As always, Callum, spot on the money there. We've got Desmond from Milkman again. We've got, hate to say, 2-1 Fleetwood, but then we've got the opposite. We've got 2-1 Notts. We've got a 4-1. We've got a 3-2. We've got a 2-1. George, do you think there's any chance? How much of a possibility do you think is this season that we don't keep one clean sheet?
It's up there, isn't it? It's definitely up there.
What else do you think
against Shrewsbury who offered nothing? So
I think you could probably only get. I bet you'd only get like 10-1 on that. You know, maybe less. Maybe like 8-1. 2-0 Dennis and Grant first clean sheet, same as me, but different goal scorers, or one different goal scorer. Jatta and Cerula, 0-0. We've got 3-2. We've got 3-0. Roos saves everything thrown at him. 4-1. Conor Grant hat-trick. Jatta in front of the cop. Dennis goal. Roos Howler prevents clean sheet. And then we've got a 5-1. 2-0 DJ to get the goals. That's what I'm going to. And Chris has got postponed. Chris, imagine if it does get postponed.
That's a shout, to be fair. That is a good shout.
I don't know how serious that thing is.
We'll have to go have a look.
Fly
your drone over it. Have a look.
Say again?
Fly your drone over it and have a look.
We'll just go down in a minute with your torch.
Okay.
We'll just stand at the gate and shine it in.
Are you driving? Come pick me up.
Yeah, I'll drive. Yeah, I'll pick you up.
Yeah, Simon.
We'll shine it in and we'll shout, are you all right to the pitch?
Yeah.
We might see. Genuinely though, I don't know, what's the reason you can't play on that? Like, is it because it will damage the pitch, or is it, I don't know, or the grass just break? I don't know. Who knows?
I'm hoping there's some grass experts in the chat that could let us know.
Yeah, they might be able to. Another really good show in terms of your contributions to the chat. Always love it. As I was saying a couple of minutes ago, makes us laugh seeing all the comments. So yeah, thank you for that. We're 10 subscribers away from 4,500, which would be fantastic. So if you could drop us a subscription if you're not already, please do. Massive thank you to all of our channel members. You'll notice that they do have a little symbol next to their name as a channel member. They help us out massively in terms of our streaming costs and things like that. So massively appreciated. Please do leave a like. Let's aim for 100 on this video. There will be the usual match reaction, which is instant, and a vlog after full time against Fleetwood. But yeah, let's hope the game is on. Let's hope we get a win. And can we get our first clean sheet of the season?